The trap of overthinking and the power of action. Imagine you are lying in bed late at night, staring at the ceiling. Your mind is racing with ideas, plans, and dreams. You think about all the things you could do, the places you could go, and the life you could live. But then, doubt creeps in. You start overanalyzing every possibility. What if it doesn't work? What if you fail? What if you are not ready yet? And just like that, the excitement fades. You tell yourself, maybe tomorrow. But tomorrow comes, and the cycle repeats. How many times have you wanted to do something but stopped yourself? How often do you think about changing your life, but you keep waiting for the right moment? How many dreams have been lost, not because they were impossible, but because they were never even attempted? Picture this. You see someone achieving exactly what you always wanted. Maybe it's starting a business, traveling the world, or simply becoming more confident. You feel a pang of regret because deep down, you know you could have done it too. But the difference between them and you? They acted. You only thought. Welcome to Wisdom Woven. Here, we share deep insights inspired by Buddhism to help you break free from overthinking and step into action. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So, if you find this content valuable, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your experiences and challenges. Buddhism teaches that thought without action is like a bird without wings. It can never truly take off. Overthinking is a trap. It keeps you stuck in endless loops of doubt and hesitation. The mind loves to stay in its comfort zone, convincing you that planning is enough. But plans without execution mean nothing. In the teachings of the Buddha, action is emphasized through right effort, one of the steps in the Noble Eightfold Path. It means making consistent efforts in the right direction, without waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment does not exist. It is an illusion created by fear. The only real moment is now. Many people believe they need more knowledge before they can act. But knowledge alone does not bring change. Imagine someone who reads books about swimming every day, but never steps into the water. Will they ever learn how to swim? No. They will only think about swimming while others dive in and experience it. Fear of failure holds many people back. But Buddhism teaches that failure is not the enemy. It is the path. Every great master was once a beginner. Every success story has countless unseen failures behind it. The problem is not failing. The problem is never trying. Lao Tzu once said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." That step is the hardest because the mind resists change. It tells you to wait, to prepare more, to be cautious. But waiting never brings confidence, only action does. So, what is one thing you have been thinking about doing but never started? Is it learning a new skill? Starting a passion project? Improving your health? Instead of thinking about it today, do something about it. Even a small step is better than standing still. This journey is not about perfection. It is about momentum. Small actions, repeated daily, create massive change. The Buddha himself did not become enlightened in a single moment. It was a process, a path walked step by step. In the next part, we will explore why people keep waiting for the perfect time and why that time never comes. But before that, take a moment to reflect. What have you been postponing? And more importantly, what can you do about it right now? The illusion of the perfect time. You are waiting. You don't realize it, but you are. You are waiting for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, the day when everything aligns. You tell yourself, not today, but soon. Soon turns into weeks. Weeks turn into months. And before you know it, years have passed. Yet, that perfect time never came. How many times have you thought, I will start when I have more time? How often have you said, I need to prepare more before I begin? But the truth is, you are never really preparing. You are just delaying. There is a saying in Zen, if you wait for the perfect conditions, you will die waiting. Look around. The trees do not wait for the perfect season to grow. The river does not wait for permission to flow. Life moves. It does not pause. But humans hesitate. They stop themselves, not because they cannot act, but because they believe there is a better time to act. What if the perfect time never comes? What if you are waiting for something that does not exist? Think about it. Have you ever had a moment in your life where everything was completely ready, with no doubts, no risks, and no obstacles? No, because life does not work that way. There will always be uncertainty, fear, and imperfection. The Buddha taught about impermanence, Nothing stays the same. Not your situation, not your fears, not even you. If you wait for the perfect moment, by the time it arrives, you will no longer be the same person who wanted it. People often say, I will start when I have more confidence. But confidence does not appear out of nowhere. It is not something you are given. It is something you build by acting. Imagine a child learning to walk. The child does not wait until they feel confident enough to stand. They try, they fall, they get up. Confidence comes from movement, not from waiting. Some people say, I will act when I feel motivated. But motivation is like the wind, it comes and goes. You cannot rely on it. Discipline is stronger than motivation. A person who waits for motivation is like a sailor who refuses to row because the wind is not blowing. Move first. The wind will come later. The mind plays tricks. It tells you to wait for better conditions. But what if waiting is the very thing keeping you from those conditions? Imagine two people. One person waits for the right time to start learning a new skill. The other starts today, imperfectly, awkwardly, but they start. A year later, the one who waited is still in the same place. The one who acted is ahead, not because they were more talented, but because they did not wait. Regret does not come from failing. Regret comes from never trying. The fear of failure is nothing compared to the pain of looking back and thinking, what if I had just started? Monks do not wait for the perfect conditions to meditate. They do not say, I will meditate when I feel peaceful. No, they meditate to create peace. They sit, even when their mind resists, even when it is uncomfortable. And over time, the mind learns. This is the way of action. What is it that you have been postponing? A decision? A dream? A conversation? Ask yourself, if not now, when? And if you have no real answer, then the answer is simple. Start now. The next part of this journey will help you see how impermanence itself is a reminder that time does not wait. But for now, reflect on this. What are you waiting for? And will you still be waiting a year from now? Impermanence. Why waiting is an illusion. You sit by a river, watching the water flow. It never stops, never waits. Every drop that passes will never return. Yet, humans wait. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect moment, the perfect feeling. But time is not waiting. It is moving, slipping through fingers like sand. Look at the trees. They do not wait for the perfect season to grow. In the heat of summer, they stretch toward the sun. In the cold of winter, they stand firm, waiting for spring. They do not stop. They do not hesitate. But humans do. They tell themselves, not now, later, tomorrow. And in this waiting, years disappear like mist in the morning sun. The Buddha taught that all things are impermanent. The body, the mind, the world, nothing remains the same. Yet people act as if life will always give them another chance. They say, I will start when I feel ready. But what if readiness never comes? What if the mind always finds a reason to delay? Think of the waves in the ocean. They rise, they crash, they vanish. No two waves are ever the same. Your thoughts are like this. One moment, you feel inspired. The next, doubt creeps in. If you do not act in the moment of inspiration, it will pass. And once it is gone, it may never return. A man once told a Zen master, I want to change my life, but I am not ready. The master smiled and asked, when will you be ready? The man thought for a moment and said, maybe next year, when I have more experience. The master picked up a burning candle and blew it out. What happened? He asked. The flame disappeared, the man said. The master nodded. That is how life is. One breath, and everything changes. Do not wait for the flame to go out before you begin. People fear making mistakes. They think, what if I fail? What if I regret it? But they do not see that waiting is its own kind of failure. The regret of not acting is heavier than the regret of making a mistake. A person who tries and fails learns. A person who waits and does nothing only grows older. Think of a child learning to walk. They do not wait until they are sure they can do it. They stand, they stumble, they fall. But they try again. They do not stop and say, I will wait until my legs are stronger. No, they learn by doing. And soon, they run. A farmer does not wait for the perfect day to plant his seeds. He knows that if he waits too long, the season will pass. He does not waste time looking at the sky, wondering if tomorrow will be better. He acts, knowing that action is life. The mind plays tricks. It says, you need more knowledge, more time, more courage. But no amount of thinking will make you ready. Readiness comes from movement. It comes from stepping forward. even when the path is unclear. A Zen monk once asked his students, "If not now, when?" They were silent. The monk pointed to the sky. "The clouds are moving. The sun is setting. The wind is blowing. Everything is happening now. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. Why do you wait?" There was once a man who wanted to cross a river, but he kept standing on the shore, waiting for the water to stop flowing. He waited his entire life, but the river never stopped. It kept moving, just like time. In the end, the man never crossed. His journey never began. The Buddha said, "Do not dwell on the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. Only now exists. And if now is wasted, life is wasted." A wise man was once asked, "What is the best time to plant a tree?" He smiled and said, 20 years ago. Then he added, "The second best time is now. It is always now. It has always been now." But the mind loves to pretend that later is a better choice. A potter does not wait for the perfect piece of clay. He picks up what is in front of him and begins shaping it. The sculpture is made through action, not hesitation. And so it is with life. Perfection is not found before the action. Perfection comes through action. If you look at the sky, the clouds are never still. If you look at the river, the water never waits. If you look at fire, it never stops burning. Life is the same. It is moving, changing, passing. And so must you. The biggest illusion is thinking that there is still time. The truth is, the only time is now. Sit down, take a deep breath, and listen carefully. You have been here before. Trapped in your thoughts. Stuck between action and hesitation. Torn between the urge to move forward and the weight of your doubts. You think about the risks, the possibilities, the consequences. But in the end, you do nothing. And then, regret sets in. Regret is a heavy burden. It lingers in the mind like an old wound that never truly heals. You look back at all the moments when you could have acted, when you had the chance, when the opportunity was right there in front of you. But you hesitated. You waited for the perfect moment. You told yourself, maybe later. Maybe when I'm ready. Maybe when I have more time. And now, all you have is the painful realization that those moments are gone forever. People think regret comes from making mistakes. No, mistakes can be fixed. Lessons can be learned. But the things you never do, the words you never say, the steps you never take, those are the regrets that haunt you. You cannot go back in time. You cannot undo the choices you never made. The weight of regret is heavier than any failure. There is a saying in Zen, "The arrow that is never shot will never hit its target." Many people stand there, holding their arrows, afraid to release them, afraid to miss, afraid of the wind, the distance, the possibility of failure. But what they don't realize is that not releasing the arrow is the real failure. An arrow released may miss, but an arrow never released is guaranteed to fail. You have dreams, don't you? You have things you wish to do, goals you wish to achieve, a life you wish to live. But something inside you keeps stopping you. The voice of doubt, the whisper of fear, the illusion of time. Let me tell you a truth most people ignore. There is no perfect moment. There never was. There never will be. The mind tricks you into believing that the future will be different, that someday you will feel more confident, more prepared, more capable. But someday is not real. It does not exist. The only thing that exists is now. Look around. The people who succeed, the people who grow, the people who truly live, they are not waiting. They are moving. They understand that hesitation is the enemy of progress. They do not let fear stop them. They do not let uncertainty paralyze them. They take action, even when they are afraid. And what about you? How much longer will you wait? How many more days will pass before you finally do what you know you need to do? Will you wait until it is too late? Until the opportunity slips through your fingers? Until regret becomes your only companion? Think of the elderly, those who have lived long lives, who have seen and experienced so much. When they speak of their regrets, do they talk about the things they tried and failed? No, they speak of the things they never did, the love they never confessed, the chances they never took, the dreams they never chased. They look back, wishing they had acted instead of waiting. But you are not there yet. You still have time. You still have the chance. The question is, will you take it? Imagine yourself 1 year from now. What will your life look like? Will it be different? Will you have taken that step? Or will you still be in the same place, thinking the same thoughts, making the same excuses? A year from now, you will look back at this very moment. and you will either be grateful that you acted or filled with regret that you didn't. Zen teaches us that life is like a river. It flows, constantly moving, never stopping. If you stand still, afraid to step into the water, life will pass you by. The current will carry everything forward, and you will be left behind. Do not be the one who watches from the shore. Step in. Let the water carry you. Move with life, not against it. Buddha himself did not wait for the perfect moment. If he had, he would have never left the palace. He would have stayed in comfort, surrounded by luxury, telling himself that someday he would seek wisdom. But he did not wait. He took the step, and because of that step, he found enlightenment. So tell me, what are you waiting for? Another sign? Another excuse? Another day? Stop thinking. Stop hesitating. Stop waiting. The time is now. It has always been now. It will always be now. Release the arrow. Take the step. Do not let regret be your story. Transforming fear into motion. Fear. It is a powerful force. It grips the mind, tightens the chest, and whispers, "Stay where you are. It's safer here." But what is fear really? Is it real, or is it just a story the mind tells? Look closely. Most of the time, fear is not about the present moment. It is about what might happen. It is the imagination running wild, creating shadows where there is only empty space. Think about a time when you hesitated. Maybe you wanted to speak up, but stayed silent. Maybe you wanted to take an opportunity, but let it slip away. What stopped you? Was it real danger, or was it just fear whispering in your ear, making the unknown seem bigger than it really was? The Buddha taught that fear is rooted in attachment, to comfort, to certainty, to an image of how things should be. The mind clings to what it knows, even when what it knows is not good. This is why people stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and routines that make them feel stuck. They fear what might happen if they step outside of the familiar. But look around. Everything is changing. The seasons shift, rivers flow, mountains crumble, and new life begins. Nothing stays the same, no matter how tightly you hold on to it. So why let fear stop you? The truth is, fear is just another passing cloud in the sky of the mind. It comes, it goes. But action moves you forward. Imagine a small child learning to walk. The child stumbles, falls, cries, and then tries again. Never once does the child think, "Maybe walking isn't for me." The child acts. Fear does not exist in that pure, learning mind. But as people grow, they start listening to fear. They hear stories of failure and rejection. They begin to believe that falling is something to be ashamed of, rather than a part of progress. A great Zen saying goes, "Feel the fear and do it anyway." This is not about ignoring fear. It is about understanding that fear does not need to control you. When fear arises, watch it, observe it, but do not let it freeze you. If you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. No one feels ready for the things that truly matter. They just begin. Buddhism teaches the importance of right action, taking steps that align with truth, courage, and wisdom. It is not about being reckless. It is about moving despite fear, rather than being ruled by it. Right action means understanding that fear is not a stop sign. It is a signal, a sign that you are standing at the edge of growth. Think of a moment in history when someone did something great. The Buddha leaving his palace to seek truth. A warrior stepping into battle to protect others. An artist sharing their work with the world for the first time. Do you think they felt no fear? Of course, they did. But they moved anyway. That is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Fear often wears a disguise. It calls itself preparation. It makes you believe you need more time, more knowledge, more certainty. But preparation is endless. If you wait to have everything figured out, you will never begin. The only way to be ready is to start. The path reveals itself through action, not thought. Consider a river flowing down the mountain. It does not hesitate. It does not question, "What if I hit a rock?" It moves. And in moving, it finds its way. You must be like the river. Fear tells you to stop, to think, to wait. But if you wait too long, the moment passes and regret takes its place. Do not misunderstand. Fear is not always bad. It can be a teacher. It shows you where you need to grow. It points toward the things that truly matter. But it must never be the master. You must learn to act despite fear, not to eliminate it, but to walk alongside it, knowing it has no real power over you. Ask yourself, what have you been avoiding? What action have you been postponing because of fear? What dream, goal, or change have you been waiting for the right time to pursue? The right time is an illusion. The right time is now. Take one step. Just one. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be big. But it must be real. Once you take that step, the next will be easier. Fear does not disappear all at once. It weakens with each action you take. The more you move, the smaller fear becomes. The Buddha did not reach enlightenment in a single moment. It was a journey, one step at a time. If he had let fear stop him, he would have remained a prince, living in luxury but never knowing truth. Instead, he walked into the unknown. And because of that, millions have found wisdom through his teachings. So, will you let fear stop you? Or will you step forward? The choice is always yours. Detachment from outcomes, acting without hesitation. You hesitate because you fear the outcome. You hold back because you are afraid things won't go as planned. You delay because you want guarantees. But tell me, when in life has anything ever been truly certain? A man once came to me, his heart heavy with doubt. He wanted to start something new, but he was trapped in his own mind. What if I fail, he asked. What if people laugh at me? What if I try my best, but nothing changes? I smiled at him and asked, if a seed hesitated before breaking through the soil, afraid of the storms, afraid it might not become a tree, would it ever grow? He looked at me in silence. The world does not wait for those who hesitate. Life moves forward whether you are ready or not. And while you sit there, lost in endless thoughts, others move ahead. Not because they are smarter, not because they have fewer fears, but because they have learned the greatest lesson, to act without attachment to the outcome. Buddhism teaches us that attachment is suffering. When you are too attached to how things should be, you become blind to how they could be. You create expectations, and when reality does not match them, you feel disappointed, discouraged, even broken. But was the problem reality? Or was it your expectations? A man once built a small wooden boat. He poured his heart into crafting it. He imagined himself sailing on it, feeling the wind, enjoying the journey. But on the first day of sailing, a storm came. The boat cracked and sank. Heartbroken, he returned home and said, I will never build a boat again. But another man, in the same situation, smiled as his boat sank. The experience of building it was beautiful, he said. The joy of sailing, even for a moment, was worth it. Now I will build a stronger boat. Tell me, which man truly understood life? Most people live in fear because they want control over everything. They want to act only if success is guaranteed. They want to move forward only if they know they will win. But the greatest truth is, you control only your actions, never the results. When the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, seeking enlightenment, did he know for certain what would happen? No, he simply acted. He surrendered to the journey without clinging to the outcome. That is why he found peace. If you plant a tree and check its height every day, demanding it grow faster, will it listen to you? No, growth happens in its own time. Your job is only to plant, water, and nurture. In life, too, your job is to act, to try, to do what you can, without holding on to the results. Because when you detach from the outcome, a great freedom appears. The fear disappears. The hesitation vanishes. Suddenly, you are not burdened by thoughts of success or failure. You are simply living. A warrior once asked a Zen master, what is the secret to courage? The master poured tea into 2 cups. One he filled halfway. The other, he filled to the top until the tea overflowed onto the table. The first cup is the way of detachment, he said. The second cup is the way of attachment. When your mind is like the second cup, full of expectations, fears, and desires, it spills over. You become anxious, overwhelmed, afraid. But when your mind is like the first cup, accepting, open, unattached, you remain at peace, no matter what happens. Tell me, which cup is your mind? You see, most people hesitate because they are afraid of failure. But what is failure? It is nothing more than a teacher, nothing more than a lesson. You take it, you learn, and you move forward. If you are not attached to success, failure loses its power over you. The wind does not ask where it will go. The river does not stop because it fears a waterfall ahead. The tree does not refuse to grow because it worries about storms. Nature moves forward, without hesitation, without fear. And yet, humans, who are a part of nature, hold themselves back. Not because they can't act, but because they are afraid to let go. But tell me, what is there to lose? You will leave this world one day. Every single person you have ever met will leave too. The houses, the money, the achievements, none of them will follow you. So why are you afraid? What is stopping you? A person who acts without attachment is truly free, because they understand what matters is not the outcome, but the action itself. Write the book, even if no one reads it. Paint the painting, even if no one sees it. Sing the song, even if no one hears it. Not because of the reward, but because the act itself brings you life. Detach from the results. Let go of hesitation. Move forward, because the only real failure is never trying at all. Mindfulness in action, the Buddhist way of doing. Sit down for a moment. Breathe. Feel the air into your lungs, then leave. This moment, right now, is all there is. But tell me, where is your mind? Is it here, or is it lost in thoughts of what should be, what could be, what might happen? Most people live in their minds. They plan, they analyze, they worry. But in all this thinking, they forget the most important thing, doing. Life is not happening in your thoughts. It is happening right here, in this moment, in the action you choose to take. There is an old Zen saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. What does this mean? It means that true wisdom is not found in endless thinking. It is found in the simple act of doing, fully, with presence, without hesitation. Many people believe mindfulness means sitting quietly in meditation. But real mindfulness is much more than that. It is being fully present while doing. Whether you are eating, walking, working, or speaking, mindfulness means being completely in that action, without distractions, without second-guessing, without fear. Imagine you are washing a dish. Most people do not wash dishes. They rush through it, thinking about the next task, the next worry, the next distraction. But what if you were completely present? What if you felt the water, the smoothness of the plate, the movements of your hands? Suddenly, even washing a dish becomes an act of meditation, an act of pure doing. Buddhism teaches that overthinking is a disease of the modern mind. It creates hesitation, confusion, and suffering. The cure is action, but not just any action, mindful action. When you act with full awareness, without being lost in thoughts, something amazing happens. You move freely. You feel lighter. You stop waiting for life to happen and start living it. Look at nature. A river does not think before it flows. A tree does not question whether it should grow. A bird does not hesitate before flying. Nature moves, acts, and exists in pure presence. Humans, on the other hand, stop themselves. They hesitate. They think, overthink, doubt, and delay. Ask yourself, how much time have you lost in hesitation? How many moments have slipped away because you were caught in your own mind? How often have you wanted to speak, move, change, or try, but your thoughts held you back? The Buddha taught the importance of right action, not just right thinking, but action that is intentional, mindful, and free from hesitation. Thinking alone does not change your life. Only action does. But the action must be done with awareness, not in a rush, not in anxiety, but in the calm, focused presence of now. Many people say, I will act when I feel ready. But readiness does not come from thinking. It comes from starting. A warrior does not wait until he feels no fear. He steps forward despite the fear, and in that movement, he transforms. Take a moment to reflect. Is there something you have been postponing? A conversation, a decision, a change? If so, what are you waiting for? There is no perfect time. There is only this time. And this time is always enough. When you start moving, something magical happens. The hesitation fades. The mind clears. What once seemed difficult becomes natural. But you will never know this unless you begin. So breathe. Feel this moment. And then do. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Overcoming self-doubt through right effort. Sit with me for a moment. Let your mind settle like still water. Now, think about this. How many times have you held yourself back, not because of others, but because of your own doubt? How many times have you questioned whether you were good enough, ready enough, or capable enough? You see, the greatest battle is never with the world. It is within your own mind. Self-doubt is a heavy chain. It binds the heart, weakens the spirit, and convinces you that you are smaller than you truly are. It whispers that you are not prepared, that you will fail, that others are better. And so, you hesitate. You wait. You let your dreams become distant shadows instead of living realities. But the truth is simple. No one is born ready. Readiness is not something you wait for. It is something you become through action. In the teachings of the Buddha, there is something called right effort. It is the effort you put into overcoming the obstacles within yourself. It is the effort to let go of what weakens you and to cultivate what strengthens you. It is not about being perfect. It is about moving forward despite imperfection. Think of a small stream. The water does not stop because a rock is in its way. It finds a way around it. It keeps flowing. This is how effort should be. Constant, unwavering, flowing past the doubts that try to block your path. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you weaken your doubts. Every time you hesitate, you make them stronger. Many people wait for confidence before they act. But confidence is not the cause of action. It is the result of action. A child does not wait to feel confident before taking their first steps. They simply try, they fall, they get up, and they try again. This is how confidence is built, not by waiting, but by doing. Now, ask yourself, how many things have you delayed because you felt unworthy or unprepared? How many times have you watched others move ahead while you stood still? The only real difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that one acted and the other doubted. Self-doubt is like a fog. It makes everything seem unclear. But the only way to clear the fog is to start walking. Every step you take reveals the next step. Every action you take proves to yourself that you are capable. Waiting does not remove doubt. Action does. Let me tell you a story. Once, a student came to a Zen master and said, "Master, I want to be wise and strong, but I feel weak. I feel like I am not good enough. How do I get rid of this feeling?" The master smiled and asked, "Tell me, when you were a child, did you ever fall while learning to walk?" The student nodded. "Did you stop trying because you fell?" The student shook his head. The master laughed. "Then why now, as an adult, do you let your failures define you? Why do you doubt yourself simply because you fall? The only ones who never fall are those who never move." The student understood. He had been waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel strong. But strength is built through effort, not through waiting. Every master was once a beginner. Every strong person was once uncertain. Every journey begins with doubt, but it does not have to end there. Right effort means choosing to act even when you feel uncertain. It means understanding that mistakes are not proof of failure. They are proof that you are trying. The greatest mistake is not failing. The greatest mistake is never starting. You may think, "But what if I try and fail?" I ask you instead, what if you never try at all? Failure is not the end. It is a step on the path. The Buddha himself faced many struggles before reaching enlightenment. If he had doubted himself and given up, we would not have his wisdom today. If you truly want to move forward, you must take the first step. Even if your hands shake, even if your voice trembles, even if your heart is filled with doubt, take the step. One step today, another tomorrow. Slowly, your doubt will lose its power and your confidence will grow. Do not let your mind be your prison. Do not let fear be your master. Life is too short to spend it wondering what could have been. Act now. Start now. And remember, you are far more capable than you believe. Listen closely, for this is important. You have read, you have listened, you have thought. But tell me, have you truly understood? There is a difference between knowing something and living it. A difference between filling the mind and transforming the soul. Knowledge sits like water in a still pond. Wisdom flows like a river, shaping the land it touches. A man once came to a Zen master, full of words. He spoke of books he had read, sutras he had memorized, teachings he had collected like treasures. He said, "Master, I know the way of Zen." The master smiled, took a teapot, and poured tea into the man's cup. He kept pouring. The cup overflowed. Tea spilled onto the table, then the floor. The man gasped, "Stop! The cup is full." The master set down the pot and said, "And so is your mind. How can I teach you if you have no space to receive? To know is not enough. You must empty the cup. You must act. The path is not in the words. It is in the walking. You do not learn to swim by reading about water. You must enter, feel the cold, struggle, and move. Only then do you understand. The same is true for life. You say you seek peace, but do you practice patience? You say you want wisdom, but do you sit in silence? You say you desire change, but do you take even a single step? There is a sickness of the modern mind, a sickness of consuming but never digesting. People gather information like hoarders, filling their minds with ideas, but they do not apply them. They watch videos on discipline, but still waste their time. They read books on courage, but still let fear control them. They learn about detachment, but still cling to their suffering. They believe knowledge is power. No, knowledge is potential. Action is power. What use is a candle if it is never lit? What use is a key if it never unlocks the door? What use is wisdom if it remains trapped in the mind, never stepping into the world? A bird is not a bird because it has wings. It is a bird because it flies. You are not wise because you have knowledge. You are wise when you live it. The Buddha did not reach enlightenment by thinking about it. He sat beneath the Bodhi tree and stayed. He did not say, perhaps tomorrow. He did not say, let me read one more teaching. He did not say, I will start when the time is right. He simply did. No hesitation, no delay. And because he acted, the world was changed. Do not make the mistake of believing that wisdom will come to you through thought alone. A sword is not sharpened by imagining the whetstone. A fire is not lit by thinking about warmth. A life is not changed by waiting for the right moment. It is changed by action. One step, one choice, one moment of courage. You do not need more knowledge. You already know enough. You know that anger brings suffering, yet you still let it control you. You know attachment causes pain, yet you still cling. You know time is limited, yet you still waste it. The problem is not that you do not know. The problem is that you do not do. If you want to be strong, lift the weight. If you want to be wise, live the teaching. If you want peace, practice letting go. There is no secret. There is no hidden path. The way has always been clear. The only question is, will you walk it? There is a Zen saying, 1,000 miles begins with one step. But what they do not tell you is this: the first step is everything. Most people spend their lives standing at the starting line, looking at the path, thinking, talking, waiting. They never move. And so, they never arrive. Do not fall into the illusion of waiting. Do not think that tomorrow will be easier. Tomorrow will not come, for when it does, it will be called today. And then you will say, tomorrow, again and again, until life is gone. You have one moment, and it is now. Stop preparing. Stop hesitating. Stop waiting for certainty. The archer does not wait for the wind to be perfect. He simply draws and releases. The musician does not wait for silence. He plays. The warrior does not wait for fear to leave. He fights. What do you seek? Peace? Strength? Freedom? Then act. Do not let another day pass filled with thoughts, but no movement. Let today be different. Let today be the day you stop thinking and start living. And remember this: wisdom is not in the words you hear, but in the actions you take after hearing them. Will you walk away with nothing but another idea, or will you rise and step forward? The answer is yours alone. Listen closely. Too many people dream of greatness, yet they wait for the right moment. They want to change, to grow, to become something more, but they hesitate. They start strong, full of excitement, but soon they slow down. They stop. They tell themselves, maybe tomorrow. And so, days turn into months, months into years. Nothing changes. But the truth is simple. Greatness does not come from a single action. It comes from small acts, done every day, without fail. A stone is not shaped by one powerful strike, but by the gentle, steady flow of water. A tree does not grow tall overnight, but through patient, daily stretching toward the sun. The strongest mountain is not built in a day. It is formed over time, as each grain of sand holds its place. Think about it. The Buddha did not awaken in one night. His enlightenment was not a sudden miracle. It was the result of years of deep practice, of silent struggle, of daily effort. He walked step by step, never stopping, never rushing. He understood that the greatest power is not in thinking, not in planning, but in doing. And yet, so many people make a mistake. They believe they must take huge steps, or none at all. They tell themselves, if I cannot change my life overnight, why bother? But this is an illusion. Change is never about speed. It is about consistency. Even the smallest step, when repeated daily, becomes unstoppable. A single drop of water may seem weak, but when it falls again and again, it carves through the hardest stone. Have you ever seen a candle burn? At first, the flame is small, fragile. A gust of wind could put it out. But if it keeps burning, it grows stronger, spreading its light. The same is true for action. The first step is difficult. The first few days feel uncertain. But if you continue, the flame of your efforts will grow, and soon, it will shine so brightly that nothing can stop it. Ask yourself, how many times have you started something, only to stop when it got hard? How many times have you promised yourself, I will begin tomorrow, but tomorrow never came? The mind plays tricks. It whispers excuses. It says, you are too tired today. You will start when you feel ready. But the truth is, you will never feel fully ready. If you wait for perfect conditions, you will wait forever. Look at nature. The sun does not wait for permission to rise. The river does not pause because the path is difficult. The wind does not stop blowing just because no one is watching. They move. They continue. They persist. And so must you. There is a Buddhist teaching. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But there is another truth, one people often forget. The journey is not completed in a single step either. It is completed by stepping again and again and again. You must take that first step, yes. But more importantly, you must keep walking. One step a day, one effort at a time. No rush, no panic, just movement, just discipline, just unwavering commitment to the path. The greatest danger is not failure. It is stopping. It is breaking the rhythm. It is losing momentum. Think of a wheel. When it starts rolling, it moves slowly, with effort. But once it gains speed, it glides smoothly. The moment it stops, however, starting again becomes difficult. This is why consistency is the key. If you pause too long, doubt will creep in. If you hesitate, fear will whisper in your ear. So do not stop. Do not wait. If you fail, stand up again. If you are tired, take a breath. But then, take another step. Do not think too much about how far you must go. Focus only on the step in front of you, and take it. Then take another, and another. One day, you will look back and realize, what once seemed impossible was only a matter of daily, steady effort. What once felt distant is now within your grasp. The person you wish to become is no longer a dream, but a reality. So act now, and do not stop. Imagine this moment right now. You are here, reading these words, breathing, existing. Not in the past, not in the future, just here. Yet, your mind often pulls you away. It drags you into memories of yesterday or worries of tomorrow. And while you are lost in these thoughts, life is happening. It is moving forward, whether you act or not. How many times have you thought, I will start tomorrow, only for tomorrow to never come? How often have you planned, prepared, and waited, thinking the right moment will arrive? But the truth is, there is no right moment. The only time you have is now. Not the past, not the future, just this present breath. A man once asked the Buddha, what is the most important time? The Buddha smiled and replied, the most important time is now. The man was puzzled. He had expected a deeper, more complicated answer. But what could be deeper than this? If you truly understand it, you will never delay your actions again. There is a great illusion in the mind. It whispers that things will always be there for you, that opportunities will wait, that people will stay, that life will pause until you are ready. But reality is different. Time is like a river. It never stops, never slows down, never waits for anyone. If you do not step in, the current will pass you by. Action is life. Thinking, planning, worrying, these are not life. They are shadows of life, reflections of something real. The only thing that makes a difference is what you do. And what you do can only happen in the present moment. Right now? Not later. Not someday. Now. There was a disciple who wanted to meditate but kept postponing it. Tomorrow, he told himself, I will sit in silence tomorrow. The next day, he was busy, so he delayed again. Then again, and years passed. One day, his teacher asked him, where is your practice? The disciple lowered his head. I have been preparing to begin. The teacher shook his head. Preparing is not doing. The present moment does not wait for your preparations. This is how most people live. They say they want to start something, a habit, a journey, a change, but they wait. For what? For the perfect energy? The perfect mood? The perfect day? That day will never come. But today is already here. Fear stops action. Doubt stops action. But they are only illusions. The moment you step forward, fear weakens. Doubt disappears. The mind creates barriers, but movement destroys them. Even a small action is more powerful than 1,000 thoughts. When you act in the present, you take control of your life. You are no longer a victim of hesitation. You become the creator. You decide what happens, instead of letting time decide for you. There is no moment in the past that you can return to. There is no moment in the future that you can guarantee. The only moment that belongs to you is now, and if you do not use it, it is gone forever. Do you think enlightenment comes from thinking about it? Do you think wisdom arrives just by understanding it? No. Enlightenment is in action. Wisdom is in living. A bird does not think about flying, it flies. A river does not think about flowing, it flows. A person who understands life does not just think about acting, they act. Ask yourself, what is it that you keep delaying? What is waiting inside you, asking to be done? Close your eyes. Feel it. And now, open your eyes and do it. No more waiting. No more hesitation. Because the only time you truly have is now. Breaking free, the final push toward action. Imagine standing at the edge of a river. You want to cross, but you hesitate. You wait for the current to slow down, for the wind to calm, for the perfect moment to step forward. But the river never stops moving, and neither does time. You stand there, watching, thinking, waiting, until the day ends, and you have gone nowhere. This is how most people live. They think, they analyze, they dream, but they never move. They wait for a sign, for a guarantee, for everything to be just right. But nothing in life is ever just right. The mind convinces them that tomorrow will be easier, that next time will be better, but tomorrow is just another today waiting to be wasted. Now, imagine a man who takes a step. He doesn't wait. He doesn't know what lies ahead, but he moves. The water is cold, the current is strong, but his feet find the ground. With each step, his confidence grows. He does not need certainty, he only needs movement. Soon, he is across, looking back at the place where others still stand, waiting. There is no great secret to life. There is only action. Thoughts are endless. Plans stretch forever. The moment to act is always now. You have spent your life thinking, haven't you? Weighing choices. Wondering what if. Regretting what could have been. You have lived inside your head, believing that the right thoughts would bring the right results. But has thinking ever been enough? Have you ever changed your life just by sitting still? A tree does not think about growing. A river does not plan its path. The sun does not hesitate to rise. Nature moves, always. Only the human mind resists its own purpose. Only we hesitate, thinking we are being careful, when in truth, we are just afraid. What are you waiting for? A better mood? A little more time? Someone to push you forward? That moment will never come. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to make the first step for you. The only way forward is by moving. Buddha once said, an idea that is developed and put into action is more important than an idea that exists only as an idea. How many ideas have you buried? How many dreams have you let die because you never started? How many chances have you watched disappear while you waited for a feeling of readiness that never arrived? The world rewards action, not thought. A man who acts imperfectly will still learn, still grow, still move forward. But a man who waits for perfection will never begin. His dreams will be like unlit lanterns, beautiful in potential but useless in reality. Let go of hesitation. Let go of doubt. You have everything you need. You do not need more time, more skills, more approval. You are already enough. The only thing missing is movement. Take the first step, even if it's small. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Begin, even if you are uncertain. Life does not wait. Opportunities do not pause. And time will not return what you have lost. Imagine one last thing. You are at the end of your life, looking back. Do you want to see a life of hesitation, of regrets, of chances never taken? Or do you want to see a life of courage, of action, of moments where you chose to move instead of waiting? That choice is still in your hands. But not for long. This is the moment. The only moment you ever truly have. Do not just think. Act now. Thank you for being part of Wisdom Woven. If this message has touched you, do something about it. Like, comment your thoughts, share, and subscribe. But more importantly, step forward, today. Breaking free, the final push toward action. Imagine standing at the edge of a river. You want to cross, but you hesitate. You wait for the current to slow down, for the wind to calm, for the perfect moment to step forward. But the river never stops moving, and neither does time. You stand there, watching, thinking, waiting, until the day ends, and you have gone nowhere. This is how most people live. They think, they analyze, they dream, but they never move. They wait for a sign, for a guarantee, for everything to be just right. But nothing in life is ever just right. The mind convinces them that tomorrow will be easier, that next time will be better, but tomorrow is just another today waiting to be wasted. Now, imagine a man who takes a step. He doesn't wait. He doesn't know what lies ahead, but he moves. The water is cold, the current is strong, but his feet find the ground. With each step, his confidence grows. He does not need certainty, he only needs movement. Soon, he is across, looking back at the place where others still stand, waiting. There is no great secret to life. There is only action. Thoughts are endless. Plans stretch forever. The moment to act is always now. You have spent your life thinking, haven't you? Weighing choices. Wondering what if. Regretting what could have been. You have lived inside your head, believing that the right thoughts would bring the right results. But has thinking ever been enough? Have you ever changed your life just by sitting still? A tree does not think about growing. A river does not plan its path. The sun does not hesitate to rise. Nature moves, always. Only the human mind resists its own purpose. Only we hesitate, thinking we are being careful, when in truth, we are just afraid. What are you waiting for? A better mood? A little more time? Someone to push you forward? That moment will never come. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to make the first step for you. The only way forward is by moving. Buddha once said, an idea that is developed and put into action is more important than an idea that exists only as an idea. How many ideas have you buried? How many dreams have you let die because you never started? How many chances have you watched disappear while you waited for a feeling of readiness that never arrived? The world rewards action, not thought. A man who acts imperfectly will still learn, still grow, still move forward. But a man who waits for perfection will never begin. His dreams will be like unlit lanterns, beautiful in potential but useless in reality. Let go of hesitation. Let go of doubt. You have everything you need. You do not need more time, more skills, more approval. You are already enough. The only thing missing is movement. Take the first step, even if it's small. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Begin, even if you are uncertain. Life does not wait. Opportunities do not pause. And time will not return what you have lost. Imagine one last thing. You are at the end of your life, looking back. Do you want to see a life of hesitation, of regrets, of chances never taken? Or do you want to see a life of courage, of action, of moments where you chose to move instead of waiting? That choice is still in your hands. But not for long. There is a story in Zen Buddhism of a student who asked the master, "What is the key to enlightenment?" The master simply replied, "Walk." The student asked again, "But what must I do first?" The master said again, "Walk." The student, confused, asked, "But how do I begin?" The master smiled and said, "You already have. Every journey begins with a single step. Every transformation begins with a moment of courage. This moment is yours. Let go of fear. Let go of waiting. Let go of the endless cycle of hesitation. Life is happening now. The only question is, are you moving with it?